sir. Yes, sir. We live, man. Let's get it, man. What's going on, y'all? This is the Stamper Podcast. My name is Nathaniel. I'm with Stamper Signings with Nationwide Notary Service, and I have a special guest on the pod today. We have my man Arthur Jones. He's a realtor, host of the Grind Show, the Adams Show, podcast. Has a podcasting course. Is all around great guy. Member of the Tide Capital Mastermind as well.
We up.
Yes, sir. It is a privilege to have him on the show, man. Arthur, man. Appreciate you, man. What's going on, man?
Man, I'm just glad we finally got that.
Yeah. We was having some technical difficulties in the beginning, but we here now.
I'm used to having my microphone. I ain't even using my mic right now, y'all. It's all good. We're gonna do this more, it's all good. But I'm blessed to be here, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Nah, man, pleasure's all mine, man. Yeah, I had to get you on the show, man, because every time I'm posting, whether it's a photo or a video of me, you either liking it, you're commenting, you're sharing it, posting your story. So yeah, you always showing love, man. So I had to reciprocate it, man, and get you on the show, man, to highlight what you have going on, and man, just let the world know what you got going, man.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I do that is because we gotta lift each other up, man. Like,
absolutely.
In the world of social media and all this and business stuff, the more traction you can get, the more eyeballs on stuff you can get, is the better exposure and stuff. And like small businesses, what we lack a lot of is exposure. You know what I mean? So if I can share my audience, my audience, and like vice versa, like it just makes us that much more bigger,
Absolutely.
So I just try anybody that I know is doing good things. I definitely try to just, shed some light. And, you never know. Somebody might, hey, I need that stamper service, or, they might need me for a real estate investment. And it's just helping each other out,
Absolutely, man. It definitely helps to do these collaborations because, especially with how the algorithm works.
Yeah,
like they want you to put thousands and thousands of dollars in the ads so they can get you in front of all these people, right? But I've seen there's people out here where they, like said, they're using organic marketing, and they still been able to see success without having to put all that money in the ads.
Yeah, that's what I'm about, because especially as a small business, spending all that money on advertising, you might not got that much to spend on advertising.
Yeah.
Well, these major corporations, they spending thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on one post. You know what I mean? So it's like, in order for us to have a little leg in the game, we gotta be able to what's the word? Collaborate and consolidate our efforts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anytime I see my brothers doing good, I'm gonna be like, all right, push that, without even hesitation. Like, that's my boy Rafa. I always see him in Tide Capital doing good stuff. So I was like, that's my guy, I always see him doing wins. Hey, Chuck, bro, this is it. It's right now, Chuck.
No, man, it's been a minute since we had our meetings, man. That's what I used to look forward to, is listening to with the wins, man. And some people used to be a little bit shy. Mm-hmm. I used to, I come in there like, yo, that's what we got going on for the day, man.
I used to funny, always one of the people that stuck out to me. I was like, yeah, Rafa Biani, he always getting his wins in. I started off a little shy, but I got a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah.
When you're starting business, you still trying to figure it out. So you sometimes don't want to put yourself out there too much.
Yeah.
Once you start getting it together, you start getting a little bit more confidence. So
it's an adjustment period, because like I said, most, especially, they don't. It's not like something that they teach you in school, right? It's either you've had experience, whether if it's like, so for me, I used to sell CDs when I was in school. So, I know you're familiar with LimeWire.
Yep. LimeWire, they don't know about that.
They don't know nothing about that. I've killed many computers and laptops because of that site, man.
Yeah,
that was my hustle early on, man. Just selling CDs, and then I would have never thought that would, parlay into doing what I'm doing now. But it's just a matter, just planting those seeds early on, and so.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's one of the keys that that fostered that as well. It's like being in the mastermind and just being around people like yourself and seeing there's other people out there that's doing what you do. Because it's not something I'm accustomed to doing or even knew anyone that was doing what I was doing. So to be in that room and seeing what everybody else doing within their respective industries and their respective fields. It's like, oh, y'all crushing it. It's like, oh, this is the room I need to be in, man. And it's inspiring to be in that community in general.
Yeah. So you had that entrepreneurship early. That's good. I remember my first CD I ever bought was a dude, one of my Mexican homies. He was selling CDs. I bought that Twister, Kamikaze. That was my first CD after the Jackson 5 that I bought. My first rap CD.
Yeah.
The first one was the Jackson 5, though. Shout out to Jackson 5, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, though, man. I appreciate you, bro. These kind of conversations are important, bro. So, what you want to talk about, man? What you want to talk
about? First things first, I know you're a realtor, so I know you down there in SoCal, San Bernardino, right?
Yes, sir.
Down there selling properties, man. Tell me a little bit what made you get into real estate? Was your folks already in that field already? Was it like a friend or just something that or someone that you just saw that was just really having success within that space? Like what led you into real estate?
Well, like you, entrepreneur started early for me. My grandmother, she is an immigrant from Honduras. She traveled to Belize with my two uncles and my auntie, and then they end up migrating to New Orleans. And New Orleans is where my mom was born. My grandmother had married a sailor, not a sailor, a seaman. He was Jamaican, and they had my mom, and I believe they have my auntie, my uncle. So my grandmother, she had a lot of kids. Long story short, they moved to California. My grandma left my grandfather. Sorry, bro. But yeah, they moved to I think South Central, I believe, and they end up moving from South Central to Pasadena. Pasadena is where I'm from, where I was born at. My grandmother, she was an entrepreneur. She had like a bakery / like pastry business, and she would set up shop at the flea market, the local flea market at Pasadena City College, and that's where I got my stomping grounds. It was a 33-year-old business when we finally stopped doing it. But yeah, she did it for a long time. But I would be out there with them at like 6, 7 years old, selling waters, sodas, hot dogs. We had these little things called meat pies.
Yeah.
They look like papayas, kind of, and people go crazy for them. We sell them for like $4 or $5.
Yeah.
And yeah, we used to be out there. We was kind of like a staple in the community, especially my grandmother. She had this vibrant spirit. A lot of people loved her, and she loved on her people. And that's how I got like that entrepreneur spirit. I'll go around like after a while and start buying stuff from local vendors. They'll buy stuff from us, and like it was just kind of like a community thing. So I cooked that and ran with it, and I started doing my own little businesses because I didn't like being in the warehouses, being in a 9-to-5 space. Sometimes we got to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I knew I had more in me than just this. Okay, let me pick up this box and move it over here. Let me sweep up this floor, and it was just like for real. And then they treat you bad.
That part.
A lot of them. So it's like, bro, I'm getting this money. I ain't doing what's like I feel like I'm meant to do, and I got this right here, just like, bro, like you ain't even. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know. So I just seen how the system worked, and I was like, man, if I'm gonna get out of this, I gotta find myself where I can do something that's like more in my niche, my sphere.
Mm-hmm.
So I started my marketing company, and then I was trying to figure out, man, what can I market to get better, or to make some money and build. So I ended up doing e-commerce and drop shipping. That was actually working pretty good. I was doing good on that. I had money flowing. I was promoting on Facebook. I was like, oh, okay. And then I started thinking like, how can I make more money at scale?
Mm-hmm.
The one of the biggest purchases a person will make in their life is homes. And I noticed that my mom, she had been doing real estate for a while. She's a 20-year vet in the game. So, she would make some pretty good money, in certain years.
Yeah.
But real estate is up and down. But I
Mm-hmm.
figured if I can bring my marketing expertise, especially seeing how technology and social media and how it's expanding your reach,
Mm-hmm.
I figured that I can probably do pretty well. And I'm personable. Like I ain't like an asshole or a dig. Like I be cool. If people chill with me, I'm cool as you.
Yeah.
And I figured that I can do pretty well in real estate. So I studied like back in 2021, I think 2022. What year is it? 2024.
Yep.
Probably like 2021. I started studying after the pandemic. Like I was going through some shit. My girl had left me. I was down and out. Yeah, I was done.
It could
But
be
the funny,
rough, man.
but the funny thing is though, during that 2020 era, that's when I really started getting into the mastermind, and I
Mm-hmm.
had started getting around you guys, and hearing y'all stories, Charles, Daniel, Jay Feezy,
Yep.
uh, Doe. What's my boy rapping Doe?
Yep.
You know,
Don
so
Bucks.
Don Bucks, yeah, my boy Don Bucks. Shout out to Don Bucks, man.
Brandy. Shout out to Brandy as well.
Brandy stayed in there, So just
Always.
that community helped me like figure out how to move through to what I was envisioning.
Yeah.
So once I got locked in and I finished my studying, and I was substitute teaching. That's my 9 to 5, and I stayed in the group. I was there every meeting for the most part, and then I got my license, and then I just been building ever since. So now I'm a licensed realtor, and I'm just trying to build up my clientele, make some sales, and help people find a home. And then hopefully I'll get my broker's license, and I'll be able to, again, build your own business, entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a journey, but I'm just riding with it. It ain't easy,
Never
but,
easy.
but I've been learning a lot, and I'm grateful and I'm thankful that I'm here now and talking to you, and hopefully some of these words will help somebody else to get started on their journey, because it ain't never too late.
No, it's never too
It
late.
ain't never too late.
It's never too late. You can get started right now.
Yup. You could be 40, 45, 50 and still be early in the game.
Absolutely. I appreciate you for sharing that with me, because we have similar backgrounds just from when I'm listening. From what I'm listening to. So your grandmother had her own business for 30 plus years.
Yep.
Now my grandmother, growing up, now this is something I didn't know till I was an adult.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandparents, now they both have come from work corporate.
Mm-hmm.
My grandmother used to work for the IRS. We used to work for the government, and then my grandfather, he used to work for, at the time, it's Pac Bell. Now we know it as AT&T, but it was Pac Bell at the time. And so I didn't know until because for a minute I was trying to figure out myself, like, where did this entrepreneurial spirit come from? Right now, I knew what kind of led me to that point, just dealing with past jobs. Like, I used to work at the warehouse doing doing order packing or I think order pack, whatever it was.
Packing, shipping, all that.
Yeah, all of that stuff. Like, because when you first come into it, you thinking like, oh, all you gotta do is move some boxes. You just ride on the electrical cart, wherever it is. Only lasted like 90 days doing that, right? And then I end up going into security, and I end up going into that, and the way the people treated you. Right, I had people who we're supposed to be, on looking out for. These people were making much more than what I was making. As far as like the salary difference was just like crazy, but those same people were like doing things like trying to like put my job at jeopardy. They don't care about the fact that I got rent, I got bills, I got a responsibility. They just trying to put my job at jeopardy. And so just dealing with people, and then dealing with people who put a lot of energy into having a title and having that seniority over you, even though you may be better at the job than they are, even though you may end up bringing the company better results, but because this particular person is a manager or has seniority over you, they think they can just flex on you. So a lot of times that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and that led me to say, you know what? If all of this is going on, I'd rather just focus on doing my own thing. At least I know by doing my own thing, if I don't make it to where I'm supposed to get to, at least I have no one else to blame but myself. I wouldn't be able to say, okay, well, this person was the reason why they're in the way of me accomplishing me either getting into a management position or what's the case. If I get into this space, it's purely based on results. And if I don't get the results that I'm looking for, I can't look at this person. I can't look at that person. I can't look at them. I have to look in the mirror and check myself, right?
Yeah.
And so that kind of led. So I was trying to figure out like what led me into that. I found out years later. I mean, a couple of years into my journey, that my grandmother owned the bar. My grandparents owned the bar. They owned the gas station.
And on the gas station,
the gas station. And it's rare that you see people of color like ourselves. Like it's not too many black folks that I've seen that own gas stations. So that led me to thinking like, man, I wish these things I would have knew like early on, because there's no telling what would have happened. What would I would have been doing if I would have known these things ahead of time, instead of everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I said we have that similarities there.
Those roots. Where your grandma from?
And I wanted to that led me to that as well. So my grandmother is from Alabama. My grandmother's from Alabama, and then my grandfather is from Arkansas. So they were both in these two different states, but a lot of those folks like during that time, I think during like the 40s, 50s, maybe 60s as well. A lot of those down south people migrated over to the west, to California, because this is where it's supposed to be, supposed to be less racist, which is not the case here in California, for those of you that don't know. And it was supposed to be more opportunity.
Yep.
Right. And so that's where, like I say, a lot of us, like say, are born here in California, like the grandchildren, but our grandparents are from the deep south, and they migrate over here to California. So I think that's dope that we have that similar background, similar connection there.
I'm trying to think, when was the California Gold Rush?
That was 1849. That was like between 1845 1849. So that was like in like San Francisco, I was like in San Francisco, I think somewhere like in the Bay Area as well. Now, I'm not an expert on this. I know a little bit about it. But even during that time, if you think about it, black folks wasn't the recipient of that. We didn't really get it. We didn't get to get in on that. And I mean, just imagine if we did. And I think I think it's so funny, like hundreds of years later, we actually are in the second. Maybe we are in the second cycle of that. I don't know how many cycles, but I would say we are in a digital gold rush. Digital gold rush, because we got technology, we have these phones, and literally, here's the funny thing about today. I could be sitting on my couch,
Mm-hmm.
I could think of something. I could think of an idea. And during the early 2000s, 90s, 80s, if I had an idea, I would need to have a brick and mortar location. I would
Yep.
definitely need to have the funding, which that
Yep.
wasn't really flowing around like that. So it was a lot. It was, you had multiple roadblocks and obstacles along the way until you actually got started. Well, these days we got the laptop, we got our phones, we got the web cameras, we have all these tools
Yep.
and technologies that's available to us to where I can come up with an idea and say, man, I want to create a course around how to get started as a notary.
Mm-hmm.
And all I have to do is open my laptop, turn on the camera, and
Yep.
press record.
Yep.
And we have these platforms like Gumroad and shout out to HiveMind, where you can set up your own landing pages and do it. And you could do all of this stuff in-house, and you don't have to hire no one out. And you can literally put out a product the very next day. And so it's a beautiful time, man, to be alive.
Don't forget those pre-orders. If you got like an ebook or something, and maybe already, you can still get the cover of the book and sell the pre-orders, and you're making money already before the product even comes out.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely,
it's a lot of stuff you can do to generate some income. And to your point, that brick and mortar, man, that's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in real estate, you gotta have your credit right. Well, maybe back then they probably would have.
Yeah.
But after 2008, you have to have it right. But
Yeah.
back, you know what I mean? So
it was just a different time. It's just a different time. Like I said, we just didn't have the like I said, it feels like all of those, like I said, those barriers, those obstacles that was kind of in the way, all that stuff has been pushed to the side.
Yeah.
All that stuff has been pushed to the side. It's like I said, with the equipment, with these web cameras, the mic that you have, like this stuff would have cost thousands of dollars back then.
Yes. So
like now, you can say that, look, I want to start a media company, and you can start a media company just like that. All you gotta do is turn the camera on.
Record the presidential race. Record.
Yep.
The Olympics.
Yep.
And if people find you and see like what you're talking about,
yep.
then hey, you got your own broadcast channel, and it can grow, and you can get sponsorships off that, and you can really build something huge. And it started with just a phone.
Yep.
Like just like Earn Your Leisure, man. I tripped out like they same thing. iPhones
blew up.
I seen they was on CNN this morning. Or CNBC, my fault.
Yeah. They were on CNBC. But I mean, like I said, they're a great example. Like you said, because they started out, I think, from just listening to Rashad and Troy. I think they were saying they were in Troy's kitchen, and they just had a couple of mics and a camera, and say, "Yo, let's record." And so, because initially they started talking about. Initially, from what drew me to them initially was they were talking about sports, but they were talking about sports from a different angle, as far as talking about like the business side of like the NFL and the NBA. Because let's say if we watching ESPN or something, right, and let's say if it's like free agency period, whether it's the NFL or whatever professional sport, you hear about these athletes that sign it for 6 years, 90 million, or now these days it's like 4 years, 230 million or something like that, right? And at that time you're thinking like, oh, that's pretty cool, like, to sign that type of contract. But I think with them, they kind of went deeper into, okay, what goes into this contract, right? What bonuses come along with this? What's the story behind how this contract even came in place, or different clauses that you would hear about? And so that's what kind of drew me into them. And then obviously, as they continue to progress, with the finances, and then, talking about stocks and everything, to now it's just it's an empire at this point.
That's what I appreciate about like this new era, this new digital age, is that we do have the ability to learn and educate ourselves. At first you have to read a book for everything, and that's fine. I love books, but just being able to have a podcast and listen to the person talk, I think that's huge. And not only listen to them talk, but look at their examples and how they're doing things. I think that's like man, that's like an underrated gym to where it's like, you got mentors that are way across the country, or it doesn't even matter where they're at in the world. You can reach them, and you can reach out to them if you want to, or you can just, peep game and look at their examples. And I think that's huge, because having to read a book and stuff, that's fine, but everybody can't have that attention span to where they can just sit there and just try to read the book. And even if they are reading the book, it's not guaranteed that they're gonna find the right stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, the fact that you can search it in Google, look it up on your phone, like, that's huge, dude. Like, like you were saying earlier, like when you started your stuff, like there ain't really no excuses of why you can't do your thing now. Like, you really can start from nothing and just, blow up, And I'm with you, because I was tired of those damn supervisors, bro. Like, I quit. I can't take this shit no more.
Yeah, same here, man. It's a trip, man. People will really take you there, man. They will really take you there, man. And it gets to a point where it's like, look, man, at this point, it's not even about the job anymore. It's not even about performance.
Yeah.
It's like little petty stupid stuff that has nothing to do with the job. And so, like I said, I've always been that person who's like, look, if it's, I'm all about performance, bringing in results. If I'm bringing in results, like, why do we have an issue? So
well, they will have an issue because, you might be more popular in the job. People might like you more. You work harder than the next person. Like, bro, we here to get money.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking? And oh my God, I can tell you story after story.
Same here, man.
It's ridiculous. I done been fired so many times for bullshit. Like, I got fired at Amazon for doing push-ups in the aisle. I was trying to keep my consistency.
Yeah, getting fired for doing push-ups is insane, man.
Wow, right?
That is insane.
Yeah, I done been written up for being late 10 minutes. Like, I get punctuality is important, but
yeah, it's crazy.
It's small stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
So
look, man. One of the things that also drew me to you when we were going over our wins and just being in the group in general, your podcast. You were one of the first people that I've seen, like, as far as like my peers, that were really just consistently just getting that content out there, just with the podcasting. Like, for me, I had someone that introduced me to podcasting when it was introduced to me. I liked the idea of it, but then I thought to myself, like, man, do I really need to be on camera? Do I really need to be? Are people really going to listen to me? And so, listening to your show and just seeing what you had going on, it was like one of the big inspirations for me to be like, if Arthur can do this, man, let me give this a try, man, and see where it takes me to where now, like I said, I've probably done 40 to 50 plus episodes just on this show alone. And so, man, tell me what drew you into podcasting, and just tell the people about your show as well.
Well, I host. The first podcast that I had was the Grind Show. I did that with my brother, Tyler Tanksley. Shout out to T-Tank. We just noticed that podcasting was becoming more prevalent. This is kind of like in the early stages of podcasts, like before all the celebrities kind of got to it.
Yeah, watered the game down.
Yeah, so we was like, man, I seen him on Facebook one day. He was like, hey, man, I forgot what he was selling something, and just put in this comment section. I was like, hey, we should start a podcast. Like, let's do it. And we got on, we started talking our shit, but it was a little tough at first because working with a partner, you gotta get on the same page.
Yeah.
We didn't really have no equipment. Kind of like Troy and Rashad. We used our phones, used our computers, and just kind of recorded it in the room. Chopping out the bando.
Yep.
And what's it called? We got to about season 2. We're trying to start season 3, but he's in Vegas right now, so we're trying to like figure out how we can keep that going.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a great networking tool, and just getting to know people. Like, I would have never known we had similar backgrounds if I hadn't got on here with you.
Yeah.
So I talked to a lot of great people like Olivia, also from Todd Capital Mastermind.
Shout out to Olivia.
Yeah, who does a great cleaning business.
Yeah.
And she has her own podcast. Undress Your Mind is called. And then people like Dan. I interviewed with Dan. And Dan's a really smart dude, knows a lot about business.
Yeah.
And, his whole hive mind ecosystem that he has with Anthony, it's pretty dope, and they do heavy on podcasting too. They have like over 400 episodes.
500. Over 500. Those guys are crushing it.
And then seeing some of the mainstream guys like Joe Budden get that big deal. What's his name? Joe Rogan. Huge deals. And, it only makes sense. Like, not only can you get your message out, get branding, you can get marketing. Like, we can sit here and talk about Stamper Academy all day long, and if people listen to it, now they know a lot about Stamper Academy.
Yep.
But there ain't no book yet, or I don't know if you got a book yet, but
I got an ebook, but we're working on another one.
Yeah. But if they didn't have the book, where else could they learn about it? Besides like the website, they have to put the website. But to have someone be able to talk about it, like, that's huge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like getting information from the horse's mouth.
Yep.
So it only makes sense to me, like, to do more podcasting. And you got to be able to, like, depending on like what kind of podcast, like ours, the Grind Show, it's more about like your journey and how you overcame obstacles. That's therapy. That shit is like therapy, like, because a lot of like our community, we don't talk a lot about our problems and our issues. So when we're able to just talk about our issues and how we overcame it, what we went through, what was we feeling like during those times, man, you get that shit off your chest, that shit feel like the world lifted. Like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
What we doing? So like, it's just a great outlet. It's kind of like music to me. Just with without the background tunes.
Yeah.
And then the Adams podcast is new. That one's just my own little thing, but it's attached to my business. Because I don't know if you remember in the Todd Capital Mastermind, we had where we was trying to put together our goals for the year.
Yeah.
And one of my goals was to build like a school. So I created the Adams Center. I don't know if you can see it in the back.
Yes, sir.
The Adams Center. It's the background. But that center is supposed to be for like agriculture, education, technology, which I love, business, and that's meant for like kids, because I'm really passionate about kids. Like I said earlier, I'm a substitute teacher, so like that's my way of basically giving back to the community. So I started the podcast around that, just to get more expansion to the Adams Center, because maybe the kids gonna want to take over for me, and they start talking about their innovations and their ideas. It's kind of like my push towards society, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, podcasting is, I would suggest every business have a podcast. Like, we can talk about Stamper Academy and we can clip it up, and now people in my audience know about Stamper Academy, which I'm sure they probably will just from this podcast.
Facts. I think that's the cool thing about, and I definitely want to touch on there's two things that stood out from what you said. Number one, podcasting is a great networking tool. So if you're one of those people that's an introvert, even though I'm introverted as well, I still go out and still like go to events and still talk to people. Even if you have a person that wants to do too many in-person events, you can leverage this right here where I can sit in front of a laptop, got my mic, I got my camera, and we could just start having a dialogue. And like I said, we like just imagine as long as we've known each other, to finally get on the show and find out that we have similar backgrounds. This is a great tool to use to leverage that. And the second point is, again, let's say if you got a book, you got a business, your podcast. This is basically like the media division of your company.
Yeah,
because as a small business owner, especially like that, like a decade or two ago, if we wanted to get our message out, the only outlets that we had was we either need to go on the radio, or we had to go to a news like to a news outlet. Like I said, that go to the news, and we got to pay for an advertising spot to get just to get a 30 second spot on TV, or you go to the Yellow Book pages. But that was your only way to get your message out there, right?
Yeah.
And so again, with podcasting, all of that's been eliminated. I don't have to go to a news outlet. I don't have to pay so and so to get my message out there. I could literally design the commercial, write everything out that I want to say, and go to YouTube or go to my website, and I could push that message out there, and then also leverage your social media. And so again, this is such a great tool to use, and it's just the same like you do, like with how you tell people like they should start a podcast. I tell notaries to do the same exact thing. You may not be, and you don't want to start a podcast so you can get paid from this podcast, and you should. I wouldn't even approach it from that standpoint. I would use it as the way for letting your audience, letting your dream clients know who you are, how do you serve them, what do you specialize in, and put it out there. And you consistently do that, more and more of those people are going to be tuned in to what you do, to the point where it's like, you know what? Let me reach out to this person. I believe this person can help me out because I've seen so much of his content. He says how he can service me, how he can help me out. And the best part about this too is getting those testimonials. Right? Getting those clients and getting those clients on video. And so for all you notary entrepreneurs out there, if you are on the fence about starting a podcast, jump off. like jump off the fence and get started, because you'll be amazed at the amount of people. Like it's a trip, the amount of people that when I go to these events, like especially like with notaries, and sometimes I don't be thinking like no one is watching because I'm looking at the views. I'm just thinking like, all right, I'm just focused on just creating the content and getting out there. But when you see people that come up to you and they say, hey, I learned about so-and-so just from watching your channel. You said something about marketing that I implemented into my business, and it led to me actually landing a client. And I thank you for that. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't see your video. Like stuff like that is like it is confirmation that lets you know that you're doing something right.
Like, oh shit, I didn't even know you were listening. Like,
yeah, like I get that a lot. It's like, man, I wouldn't even have thought that you would be preaching, right? You know, but the stuff like that is just a reminder. It's like, yo, you're doing the right things, so you just got to keep doing it. But I mean, you can't get to that point unless you don't take that initial step.
Yeah, and I wouldn't even overthink it. Like, just use your phone. You know, people who ask me how they can start a podcast, like, use your phone, dude. Like, your phone is more powerful than a lot of computers these days. So that's really all you need. If you want to get fancy and build like the whole set and stuff, then okay, that's all good too. But all you really need is your cell phone, and you will be okay. You will have a good podcast. You don't even need the visual if you want. You can just do the audio, because there's a lot of people who listen to audio. I run in the mornings and I listen to podcasts. I don't listen to music. I run and I listen to podcasts. People like E.T., you know what I mean? Like, they got podcasts. There's so many. Inky Johnson. Like, these is motivational. Like, and it's niche down. You know what I mean? Like, you can find what you want. If you want horror stories, because people like horror and crime and stuff.
entertainment, music, like whatever it is that you're looking for, like you're interested in, even history, like that stuff is out there for you. And I also want to go back to what you said. It's like for those people out there that's like, oh, I want to create a studio. I gotta have this. Yeah. Man, they got people out here. They got companies out here like these co-work, like these office spaces. They've caught on to where it's like, look, we'll set up a podcast room. You can rent it out for an hour or two. All you got to do is just show up with your mic and your computer, and you can record. So it goes back to just eliminating that excuse. Like it's literally no excuse today. It's literally no excuses. Like you have everything, but people think that they don't have what they need. But like essentially, if you got a phone, you got a laptop, you got a camera, and you got Wi-Fi, you essentially got everything that you need to get started.
And then just build around it. Get your products, get your service. Hey, you got a business right now, man. You booming.
Yeah,
it's just putting in the work, man. I know it's not easy because it takes willpower and like you know you kind of going off on the ledge because you don't see too many people doing it.
Yeah,
like, I struggle with it too sometimes, but you know at a certain point you just gotta have some courage and you know like you said jump off the porch and go for it. And you fly, man. You just gotta get out there. If you fall, it's all good. Like you can just try something else, or you can try something like adjust.
Yeah,
like, that's me and my homie. Like that's what we talked about since our early college days, because you know we didn't have like our fathers to guide us along the way. So it's trial and error. You know, trial and error. You know, you gonna bump your head a little bit, but you get right back up. Try something else, and you'd be surprised if you keep going. You don't give up. You just go a long way, man. I'm literally about to apply for the Nipsey Hussle grant. I don't know if you know about the investment.
Yeah. They got the Black Sam and the marathon. They doing the 100 days pitch. My guy, shout out to Royal if you're watching this. It's gonna be out. My boy's gonna be in there too.
What's the name?
Royal with my boy Royal Banks. He owner of Any Labs. Franchise business owner, and he the owner of Paternity University. So he teach people how to start their own DNA company.
$100,000.
Got to get in on that
for just attending and doing a pitch.
Yep,
you might get it.
You just never know what you could do with that type of funding.
And just to have those kind of opportunities present. If you never started your business, you wouldn't even have an opportunity to even go for that. You know, so you kind of gotta like keep putting yourself in a position to win. But if you don't ever start, just because you want to sit on the bench or you want to chill, then you will never get those opportunities. Like at all. Because people want to reward people they see doing good. Like I see you doing good, so I'm like, oh, get out there, like push. You know, you see me doing a little something, so you're like, hey, bro, come on. I'm like, hell yeah, that's opportunity. And they keep coming up. And the more you just like, you know, put yourself out there and keep hustling up, keep doing your thing, you'll be surprised, man. Like, I'm not the best off, but I should be the worst.
You
know what I mean? Like, I'm all right. Like, of course, there's stuff I want more, but I'm trust me, I'm okay.
And even in with even if you don't win, like even if let's say if a person like even if they're on the fence and it just didn't work out for them, there's confidence in trying. There's confidence. It's the confidence that you get from just trying it, and like say because people are they just have such negative thoughts about themselves and just thinking like, man, well, you know, if I do this, maybe it may not work out. And and I'll tell you right now, it's not going to work out like initially, like that. That doesn't happen. A good friend of mine told me something, and it always stuck with me. He was saying, right now I suck. I'm just trying to go. I'm just trying to get from sucking and pause and go to bad. Once I get to bad, I can go to good. And then once I'm good, then I can get to great, you know, and then from so on and so forth. And so it's always going to be a natural progression. The more reps that you put in, the more time that you put in, eventually you're going to get good at this. Like now, I'm not going to say I'm the best podcaster. I'm not the worst, but I'm way better right now than I was when I first started. When I first started, I was stumbling over my words, stuttering. Felt like I was just rambling, didn't have nothing to talk about. But as time goes on, it's like, okay, I'm watching the content. I know this is where I can improve at. This is where I could, condense my words here, do my best not to overtalk, be a better listener. Because sometimes I'll be in a situation where I'll be interviewing someone and I'm doing the most of the talking instead of my guests do it. So
I used to do the same thing, bro. It's a balance, but it teaches you and you learn from it. So like I like the example you gave, because I think everybody come in, they expect to be at level 10.
Yeah,
you
don't
gotta
work like that.
Yeah, you gotta start at level 1 and grow and get better. So
can't skip steps.
Yeah, you can't skip steps, and that's in anything. So you got to be a willing learner. Life will humble you for sure. Like I've been humbled time and time again, so I just try to stay humble. I know I'm a mess up, and that helps me to be like, all right, let me just go for it anyway. Like the mess ups are the learning points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I just try to. The hardest thing is the commitment. If you can commit and stay on it, then I think that's what separates people, because a lot of people start but then they don't finish. So having that commitment to see it through, like that's all good. And even if you want to change it up, like make a detour or change the pathway, that's all good, because you still don't stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like my life is a testament to that, bro. Even becoming a real estate agent, like I'm novice at this, bro. I'm not even 1 year in yet, So I'm trying to pick up gems with my mom, and she's trying to teach me stuff. I'm on the Zoom calls with the brokerage. Because I'm looking at the contracts. I'm diving in. I'm learning. I know I ain't gonna be perfect at it. I'm going on the listing calls with my mom and stuff. Like, talking to the clients, looking at investment properties. You gotta know contractors.
Yep.
Like, it's a lot. And like for me to try to dive in that and think I'm just gonna be selling $20 million homes right off the bat, like
it don't work like that.
That's naive. Like especially if I don't have like if my mom was doing maybe 20, 40. I don't know if you've seen those shows. What's the shows called? Like Selling Sunset.
I seen those. Like they be on Netflix.
Yeah, like some of these guys have huge networks already, and their parents, you can just plug in. But even them, they still gotta, do the work.
Yeah.
So, you gotta be a little bit more realistic when you start in these adventures. Like, not gonna be the greatest yet, man. I think people are like they got that. It's like two sides. Either they want to be super great, and if they don't, they feel bad, or they got like we talked about in Talk Capital Mastermind, the imposter syndrome, where they don't feel like they can be that. But you got skills to where you can possibly be that, but you got to go through the ropes.
Facts.
So I think like those two ends people struggle with, bro.
And speaking of you being a real estate agent, when someone, let's say we have someone who's in the market, they like, yo, I'm ready, I'm prepared. Before what is some before they want to sit down with you and determine a strategy on helping them become a homeowner? I mean, what are some things that they would need to do first before sitting down with you, and what's some things that they would need to do to be prepared to let me rephrase that. What are some things that they can prepare for in advance? So that way they can be in the best situation possible to say, all right, we have everything that we need now. What's the next course of action so we can be in the market to purchase a home?
Well, I would say the first thing you should do is just find a job. Find a job. I'm talking about like from the very bottom, bro. I'm talking about from the very bottom. You gotta have that income flowing, man. I don't even care if you starting off like I'm thinking about like early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's stuff that parents can do to help set their children up.
Yeah.
You know, like where they can help their children build their credit early on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe they can find a summer job while they're not in school, or they can start a savings.
Yeah.
You know, that can really set people's children up to where when they're in their early 20s, 24, 25, they can already be buying property. They can already be buying investment properties like duplexes and triplexes. Like if I would have listened to my mom when I was in college and maybe teamed up with my buddies,
Yeah.
like we would have had already real estate, you know?
Facts.
But obviously we was out partying, having a good time, chasing girls, drinking.
Yeah. It happens. This is what we all did when we was younger. Then responsibilities and adult, you know, those responsibilities come along. You can't really do as much as that as we would like.
Right. I ain't got time to chase you, girl.
Yeah. It's like, I got real life responsibilities.
My bad, bro. I ain't cracking up.
No, you all good.
This is funny to me. But yeah, having a stable income will probably be the most important thing because you need to be able to pay for the home, whether it's the mortgage or I need a down payment. You might have to pay for closing costs. So just having a stable job and building up a savings, maybe $5,000 to $10,000 that you can have to help pay for the home, like that's a huge step. Most people can't afford a home like to buy in cash, like 300,000, 400,000, 500,000, you know, up to $1 million. You know, unless you just got it, then you just ain't got it yet. So you have to take out a mortgage, and it's going into debt, but you're also acquiring an asset, and that asset usually accumulates over the course of the years, maybe 10, 20 years. You might be up $300,000, $400,000. I'm in the IE area in Fontana, and I was doing some cold calling, and I noticed that people have bought their homes in the millennium, 2000s, some 1998, some 2000s, around there. They bought their homes. This is the Fontana area for about $100,000, $110,000. You know, that's low. You know, you think about it now. But those same homes right now, about 20 years later, are worth up to 600,000, 700,000. So imagine if they haven't tapped into the equity of those homes.
Mm-hmm.
They got 500,000 they sitting on, $500,000.
Yeah.
You can do so. Oh my gosh. Like
give you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah. You can start a business, you can invest into a new home. Man, you can do so much with you can do a lot with $100,000, man. So
yeah,
like having that kind of equity in your homes is a huge benefit, but you got to get in now, so that way the next 20 years that come by, next 10 years, you can have that same equity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So having that stable income important, because the first thing the bank's gonna do is look at your payment, your payroll statements, your pay stubs.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna see how long you've been on the job. Like, have you been there 2 years? I remember me, I couldn't keep a job for nothing.
Yeah.
I was 1 year I was here, another year I was here.
Yeah.
Another year I was here. Like I had to find okay, is this where I'm gonna be for a while? Can I build off this foundation?
Yeah.
I finally got to substitute teacher. I've been doing that for 7 years, you know. Like that's been my 9 to 5. I was in Amazon warehouse for a while, so I was able to build up a little bit from there as far as like 401k and stuff. But wherever your job is, just make sure that it's stable and you're able to show consistent income for a certain amount of years. Your credit, gotta have that credit right.
Yep.
Something I've been working on vigorously. I need my credit good, you know.
Yep.
Because when the banks look, they want to see are you paying your bills on time. It's not necessarily the score. It's the reflection of what the score represents. Is he paying his bills on time? Is she getting her stuff handled? You know, because that's people lending you money when you take out credit cards. If you can't if you can't pay back the 300, 500,000, 5,000, what makes them think that you're gonna pay off 300,000, 400,000? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So those credit scores do matter. You want to be in like 650 plus. I would advise 700, but 650 is cool too. Also too, after that, like if you feel like I got my job good, I got a little nest egg, I'm sitting on a couple racks. My credit's decent, it's getting better. Go ahead and find you a realtor, so you can start shopping around. The realtor gonna show you around to some homes. The realtor can connect you with lenders, different lenders. There's different programs as far as like loan programs. I think you connected me with a lender.
Escrow company. Yep, escrow. Yep.
Yeah. So that's putting tools in my tool belt. Yeah. So when I find a buyer who needs a lender, I can contact them like, hey, can you guys help out my buyer? Like, especially if I build a relationship with them, now I can point them in that direction, and they can lend my buyer, my client, money to go get this home.
Yeah.
And so again, relationships are important. And, you just want to have a realtor who's kind of like has that vast network. So that can meet your needs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would say those 3 things are the most important. The job income. The more you make, the better. Like, if you're making $12 an hour, you might want to.
Yeah, boost your income. I hope folks is making more than $12 because you make $20 an hour at McDonald's now at the fast food restaurant.
Yeah. Yep. I would aim as high as I can. And I know we're in California.
Yeah.
But depending on who's listening and what state you're in, is dependent upon that market, that housing market.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're in like Michigan or Tennessee or like Wisconsin, Milwaukee or something, those houses are not in the 500, 600,000s like that. Like they're more in the 2s and 3s. So they're still growing. So depending on your market, you should try to get as much money as you can on those job income statements. And then your credit and what was the other one I said? Your credit and
job income and having a nest egg.
And your savings, yep.
Yeah.
Those 3 alone, I'll say work on those 3, and you can definitely get you a property, and get you investment if you want to start investing. Become a landlord. We can rack it up, bro.
Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity out there. I think that's great advice, and what I liked about that is like you simplified it for folks as well, because I think most people want to become homeowners, but I think when it comes to like learning about the process, just getting educated on it, I think sometimes it goes a little bit over their head, and they once it go over their head, they start to feel a little bit unsure and reluctant about even getting started, because it's like, well, if I gotta do. They get presented with these checklists of 10 to 15 things to do, and it puts them in a position. It's like, man, this feels like an uphill climb. Like, is it even worth it? Yeah, it's even worth it. So I like the way that you simplified that approach. Before we head out, I always got to ask this question to my guests, man. Before we head out, I always like to ask, where do you see yourself within the next 5 to 10 years? Where do you see yourself or your business? Where do you see this thing going?
Well, hopefully by then I will have some investment properties that I'll have to provide shelter for people that hopefully I care about, or just people that want to rent from me. I'm still building myself up too, man. I'm not, like I told you guys, I'm not some well-off dude. Like, I'm still working my way up,
Same
so
here.
it's a process, but you got to stay grounded through that. But you'll see yourself starting to make strides as you go. Like, you get one win and you're like, oh dang, that, all right. Then you get another win, and small, we talk about the wins all the time at the mastermind. So just keep adding them up. Like, every day, try to get a little bit done. Like, and if you're tired, rest, but don't forget the mission. Hopefully, I'll have the brick and mortar for the Adams Center. If I win that grant, it's up for sure. I already been looking at spots. What else? Lord willing, God willing, I'll have a wife and maybe 1 or 2 kids. What else? And just enjoying life, traveling. Still doing my podcast, still making deals, real estate, and just evolving as a man. It's a journey to get to where you are. Like, you gotta become the person. You don't just start. You gotta become the person. So just my development and just trying to become better every day. So it's like you said, it's uphill battle, bro. Uphill battle, but those are some of my things. I hopefully 5 years. Oh, and of course, get my broker's license.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, get my broker's license. That'll be good. I feel comfortable with that. I feel good with that.
Yeah, yes, sir. Man, before I let you go, tell the people, man, where can they find you? Where can they tap in? Where can for anyone that's interested in listening to the podcast, someone that's interested in purchasing a home, where can they find you?
You can find my Instagram right here. There you go. At St. Jones 34 on all the programs. My birthday is the same birthday as yours, so I'm about to be changing this to at St. Jones 35. So
September 27th?
Yes, sir. We got the same birthday.
Yes, sir.
We going up.
See, I wouldn't. See, again, it goes back to podcasting. I would have never known that if I didn't get you on the show.
I remember from the mastermind.
That's dope.
I always show you love. Like, birthday stamp. Birthday too.
Yeah, man, that's dope.
So, at St. Jones 34. If you listen to this in a month or two, it'll be 35. You guys can find the podcast on YouTube. Look up at Adams Center, ATOMS Center, or you can just go to my Instagram and the link is in the bio on Linktree. That's on X. That's on TikTok. Facebook, you guys search my name, Arthur Jones. I would say just go to Instagram. Just go to Instagram. I haven't got my website up, but eventually that'll be up too. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. If you guys subscribe, follow, all that helps it push me up more, guys. And make sure y'all go subscribe to my bro, Rafanuel's. I'll call him Rafa podcast. Make sure y'all subscribe to all that, man, and support my bro. You know what I mean? Go look them up. The Stamper Academy.
Yes, sir.
No, Stamper's signings, right?
Yeah, Stamper signings, Stamping Academy. And so with Stamping Academy, we phasing that out. I'm probably going to end up changing a different name for that. But yeah, if you just look up, if they just look up Stamper signings, everything for all the people that's watching this video and even listening to how to get in touch with Arthur, how to get tapped in with his podcast, and even what I have going on, everything will be in the description. So we're gonna make sure that the folks are tapped in.
And if you guys do need a realtor and you're located in California, you guys can also reach out to me. Okay, I will be happy to share my expertise, my knowledge on the real estate market, contracts, buying, selling, leasing. That's my career field. So let me know, guys.
Right. Arthur, I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you for taking time out of your day, man, to make this happen. I'm really thrilled that we was able to.
We gotta do more, man. We gotta do some more shit here, man.
Yeah, man. We definitely got to get more episodes, man. Just from it is always good to just talk to people who do what you do, right? As far as entrepreneurship, and because when you in it by yourself, you could be in a space where it's like, man, I'm the only one going through this. But when you talking to other people, it's like, yo, when you hear other people hear their stories and their journeys, like, oh, I'm not in this alone. And so that's having that connection, man. It's just so important to have these type of relationships, you know.
Yeah, that's why it's important to get around like-minded people, man. Like, I don't know if Charles realized how much I benefited from that TCM mastermind, man. Like, in more ways than one, not just connecting with you guys, but just the information that was passed along, and like you said, the camaraderie. That's one of the reasons why I'm headed out to Atlanta to connect with more people and get more information, like, and just keep building, you know. So whatever I find, I'm about to bring it back to the group, you know. Right. So I appreciate you for having me on, and like you said, sometimes it can feel like you're on an island by yourself. So when you reached out, I was like, oh shit, like, I want to do something with me, like, all right, like, let's go. Like, I was excited about it. I was like, hell yeah, because you and at the same time, you don't know too many people that are doing stuff like podcasts. So like, if they don't got those platforms that they can put you on, like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So you gotta network with people, y'all. Network, it's important. I say it again. Your network determines your net worth. And get that house so your net worth go up.
Yeah, if you don't know no one, it's gonna be it's pretty difficult to navigate to get to where you're trying to get to.
Yup. Man, big facts, man. 500K in assets, $1 million in assets. Come on, get that house, baby.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Make sure you like this. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We're gonna continue to push out more content for you guys. Again, I want to say thank you to my guest Arthur for being on the show. And until next time, you guys, peace.